Welcome to the Life Junkie podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Life Junkies podcast with me, Mike Brazier. Now, I wasn't going to do a podcast this week. Basically, I've been putting out content nearly every single day, sometimes twice a day if I'm including some of the older stuff that I'm still putting up. And even on the days when I'm not releasing new content, I'm normally working on something, either recording a podcast or writing some notes or editing a video or recording a video or writing part of a article. And this week I've just suffered real mental fatigue, so I've sort of taken a week off. I've done little bits and bobs. I've recorded 2 sort of manager videos, even though I managed to miss Tuesday. It all came down to the weekend was sort of when it all hit, and I went out to rugby. And Sunday I managed to get the podcast edited and out later than I really wanted to, and then Monday was a struggle because I hadn't managed to get my sort of manager, my England blog out on time. I was meant to be written up on Saturday before I left, but I didn't have enough time due to family issues. So it's Tuesday when I got back from work. I couldn't sit down and record the videos I needed to. I was hoping to record them on the Saturday. After I got finished writing the blog, it was just so hard for me to do it mentally that I couldn't do it. This week I've missed my video on Tuesday, but I have 2 videos stored up, so I will probably release 2 videos next week, because otherwise I'll put my video schedule off. I've missed Wellness Wednesday. I've hit my Throwback Thursday because that's the last one I had still back, and it's all set to automated. I've hit my Friday mixtape and my weekend food and drink because I had them written last week and all done. And at the last minute today, I decided I'm going to sit down and record this podcast. Now, I've been thinking about doing this podcast for the last few days, if I'm going to do it or not, and what subjects I'm going to do it on, because it's sort of been a blank space in my schedule. At first, I was thinking I was going to sit down and talk about Boots Corner again. That article has been by quite a way. It might be the number of views in the article might be the more views than everything else I've written put together. Non-FM wise, my FM blog still dwarf everything else, but that's because it's on KC's and gets the little KC rub, and Andre retweets it and everything. But no, this is, and then I was literally earlier today. I was sat down. I'm recording this at 4:15 on Sunday, so I've literally going to get this recorded, edited very, very quickly, and then up. So I was literally sat down. I watched one of Oxhorn's vids. I just took a few minutes to sit upstairs and I had a little go on Pokemon Go, a little Let's Go, while watching Oxhorn. I've been meaning to get around to his vids. The problem with Oxhorn's vids on YouTube, if you don't know who Oxhorn is, he's a Fallout YouTuber. He does streams and lore videos and stuff, but his videos are so long, and like my videos are longer than I really want them to be. My key consumable time is between 10 and 15 minutes when I'm sat down watching videos. My videos tend to run longer because I'm an idiot. And but no, for example, his first video I think is roughly 45 minutes, which is the video on the start of a new Fallout 76. And I was watching that and I was like, I made down mid-lunch, went down, so I was going to play a bit. So I was just playing a bit of Fallout 76. And I've been bounding around the idea of doing a Fallout 76 podcast. I did a video on Pokemon Let's Go. I can't really do a video on 76 because I haven't quite worked out how to get the video off of the Xbox. I can get little clips off the Switch. That's easy. I can review anything I've got on the Switch, but I can't get the I haven't properly looked into it yet. And I thought, why don't I just sit down and talk about this for a while? And I was banding through a few different ideas. At one point, I was thinking of, I'll talk about 76 while I'm literally playing 76. But now I've decided, in the end, what I'm going to do is, as you might have noticed from the title of this podcast, if you've seen it, I presume you've seen it if you're listening to us, I'm going to sit down and talk about Pokemon Let's Go and Fallout 76, so I don't feel like I've got enough to talk about either one of them on their own. Both games released very close together. They're both games I was very excited for two very different reasons. Pokemon Let's Go, because it's Pokemon Red and Blue, are two of my favourite games of all time. I had both of them and Yellow. I'll talk more about my history of both games later. And Fallout, I was excited for because Fallout is a big game with me and a very close friend of mine, and the idea of us being able to play together, even though we haven't been able to at the moment, is something that I was very much looking forward to. There's been issues that have stopped us from playing together, schedules and the such. But I haven't had a massive amount of playtime, so there you go. In fact, going back to Pokemon Let's Go for a second, because that's what I'm going to schedule after this intro that's gone on way too long. Is the reason I bought my Switch early this year and nearly bankrupted ourselves because just after it we had a few financial issues. That is the reason I bought the Switch. And from the Switch, I've of course got Mario Kart, which we always love as a family, and Mario Party, which we love as a family, and Sonic Mania, which I love and my daughter quite enjoys playing. She's not, she's too young to properly play it, but she likes jumping around as Tails for a bit. And a few other games. I've got a few games on the Lovers and Dangerous Space Time that I need to get into, and the original Super Mario, and a few other bits and bobs. But that's been So Pokemon Let's Go is the entire reason I bought it. So but when my partner bought me Fallout, and I'll get more into why she's bought Fallout and why and what she bought exactly in regards to Fallout. She wasn't massively impressed when I then rocked home on the Friday with a copy of Pokemon Let's Go. So I will. So let's stop the intro there, and I will get on to talk about Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah, listening to Life Junkies podcast.
Right, so as I mentioned in the intro, I have been a massive Pokemon fan since it first came out. I will say now at the start of this part, if you haven't watched my video, go watch it. I will touch on bits I touched on the video. I won't go into anywhere near the same amount of depth. This is mainly me talking about my feelings up to where I've played now. So in the video, the script I wrote, I'd only just got to the other side of Mount Moon, and all the clips I recorded and the pictures I took were running around Celadon City. I'm just about to go in and fight Lieutenant Sarge in Vermilion City. So I've got a little bit further. I'm still really enjoying it. But go watch the video. The link will be in the description. But anyway, I have been a Pokemon fan from the start. I owned Pokemon Red on the original Game Boy. This isn't one of the Game Boy, the original Game Boy that was around for years. The big grey block that most Pokemon fans these days wouldn't even know. It was outdated when I had it. I also had Pokemon Yellow. I stopped playing the games after Yellow due to the fact that I was a kid and we as a family couldn't afford new games consoles, all the new games. It's just one of those things. My parents didn't see a massive amount of value in it. My dad's a bit of a gamer. My mum dabbles in it every now and then if it's a game that she's interested in, but they're not massively into video games, and they've always brought on the cheap end. And we're a working class family, so I can fully being a parent and of a very working class family myself, I can completely understand why my games have stopped. I was still very young at the time, but what I did do is I watched a lot of the anime. I watched the anime all the way past the Orange Islands, the Orange League. Basically just onto when they started introducing the new Pokemon, and that's sort of where my interest waned a bit. I collected Pokemon cards. I have no idea where my Pokemon card collection sits these days. In my parents' attic somewhere. It hasn't been located for a long time. I never played Pokemon cards. I never actually played the game with all the energy cards, and I was never interested in that side of things. I was interested in collecting the Pokemon cards. I'm a collector. I like memorabilia, and I'll bring that up again when we talk about Fallout 76. So I've talked about the fact that I stopped playing the Pokemon games. I remember having a go on some friends' what was it, like Pokemon Game Boy Advance. That's it. What one came after the Game Boy Color. I did have a Game Boy Color. It was a very prized possession. I loved it very much. But the Game Boy Advance. This is another issue of the Game Boys. Is I never had enough Game Boys games to justify buying new Game Boy. Because I've just been buying Game Boys to play Pokemon, and you can't really justify that in the same way that you can with a PlayStation or an Xbox or something, or even the Switch now. The Switch, I have a small amount of games, but I can still justify it, and I know there are games coming out that I will buy. But the Game Boy is never the same. There's no Game Boy games that I look back on and I go, oh, apart from Pokemon. Not really. Anyway. There's the only one that's not a cool Pokemon game that I'd look back and playing is the Pokemon trading card game, which I had and very much enjoyed. But that was naff compared to proper Pokemon games. It was funny in a weird meta kind of way, but it can never compare with a cool Pokemon game. But yeah, I did play. I played scraps of only 10 minutes here or there, until I brought Pokemon Soul Silver on a DS. Quite a few years ago now, when that came out, and that was meant to be my rebirth into. And I completed the game, and then as in a moment of being an absolute idiot, I gave the DS and the game to an ex-girlfriend in an effort to try and win her back, which completely failed. She was a gamer. It wasn't just she had an interest in it. Yeah, no, I never saw that again, and we never got back together. So that was me being an idiot. There you go. I've been a very casual Pokemon Go player. I've enjoyed it, but the issue I've got is just walking around with your phone out. It bothers. I don't like, I don't even like answering a text quickly while I'm walking, let alone staring at the screen and waiting for a Jigglypuff to appear so you can catch it. It's just it's not for me. Every now and then I go, oh, I'll play a bit of Go, and for a couple of days, maybe while wandering to work or something, I'll have my phone out. It's not something that I've been massively keen on. I managed to catch a handful of gyms. I know people that were obsessives. I was pulled into a Pokemon Go Facebook group for our local area by my friend, who actually he created the group, and he used it to communicate with all the people that he would play it with. They were all properly into it. They'd go out specifically to play Pokemon Go, but I never got into that side of it. I do have a daughter though that is in absolute love with Pokemon at the moment. She thinks it's the absolute bee's knees. She loves sitting down. We've got the first series of the anime on DVD for her. She loves sitting down watching that. She gets a Pokemon book. She has two, but it's the one with all the it's basically like a Pokedex in book form, and it's got all the little write up and all the stats about all of the Pokemon in it. I think she's got another sort of very badly written story version of the anime somewhere. But she loves getting the book down, and she'll flip through and find the Pokemon in the book. And her favourite Pokemon is Rapidash and Ponyta, and she loves it very much. She gets very excited with the anime. She gets very excited with the games. So she's it's safe to say she's a fan. So I mentioned, if you've watched the video, I mentioned the video that I've been playing with her, which is still fine and dandy. It makes some of the his thing. Sometimes it's sort of fun to be sharing this world with my daughter, the world that I lived in when I was a kid. I was a fair bit older than her, quite a few years older than she is now when I was playing it. I don't think I'd be allowed. I don't think I'd be able to let her go and play it on her own. She can barely read at the moment. She's 5 years old now. But she's having fun, enjoying it. She understands where we're going and all this. She understands the basics of how to fight and all that side of it. It does make the easy game even easier, which is a bit disappointing, because if you haven't played it 2-player, you both go into every battle. So you have 2 Pokemon always against the opposition's 1. Apart from the one double battle I had against Team Rocket where player 2 was kicked off, and only player one controlled 2 Pokemon, which she wasn't too impressed by. Well, it boggles the mind, doesn't it? Because you'd think it shouldn't be too hard to code into it that in that fight, whereas player 1 would normally control 2 Pokemon, now player 1 only has the 1 and player 2 is still there. It shouldn't be too hard to code, but apparently that's what they've done. I found the game very easy. I've had a few. I said in the video that I've only had my Bellsprout fainted. I've had more Pokemon fainted now, but that's due to I've played the majority through Mount Moon, or basically from Pewter City to Viridian City to play with her, and so she's chosen her 3 Pokemon that she has in her party, and I've just been playing on my own today and yesterday, and because I was fed up of sort of waiting for a time when I could play with her, and so I've put her 3 Pokemon away and pulled out 3 Pokemon that I want to use, but they're all lower level now, so they've come into battle and being destroyed. But however, if I use my Pidgey or my Eevee, which are my 2 main ones, then they win easily nearly every time. So it's not, especially having Eevee, whereas Eevee being a normal isn't particularly weak to. I know normals are weak to a certain few, but it's not like in the same way that electricity is weak to rock, or water is weak to grass. It's not quite that amount of weakness. But also Eevee can learn different. So my Eevee currently has a fire move, an earth move, a normal move, and a different move, which I can't quite remember at the moment. But it has a move. I think it's got one of the silly moves you get from the Pokemon move teacher. I don't know what his proper term is. It's like something like Sizzle Slide or something. It's a fire move, and then she's got Dig, which is a great fun animation of Eevee just disappearing down into the ground. It's like something out of a horror movie. And then Swift and whatever the last one. It's really bothering me that I can't remember what the last one is. And so Eevee is basically has a way to fight against everything. So yeah, it's easy, which is a shame. And my Pidgeotto is also very strong, although it only has free flying moves and 1 normal move. Headbutt it has, and Eevee might have headbutt. So that's 2 normal moves. But yeah, so Pidgeotto, when it is up against, say, a electric Pokemon or something that's strong against flying, it can cause an issue. I'd say the main reason to get this, and I don't regret buying this game. I don't regret buying this game on near enough day of release. I don't think it was released on Friday. It might have been, but buying it near enough day of release, I'm not unhappy about it because of the graphical improvement. So it is a very pretty. Again, as I said in the video, it's not going to challenge Red Dead for any awards. Don't get me wrong. It's not. It's not years of graphical slaving to get it perfect, but it is a very good game, and it is good looking enough for a Pokemon game. I don't think you need a massive amount more. And to see the world that I've wandered around in sort of 2D with, as I said in the video, boy looking Dot meets Pokemon looking Dot, throws a ball at Pokemon looking Dot. It's great. The 2 high points so far with Bill, where you come in and he's a talking Pokemon, and you set the computer to fix him, and the SSN. There were 2 moments in the SSN that really got me. Was when you go out onto the deck. Again, if you haven't played the game, if you're worried about any sort of spoilers, this is just fun little moments. There's no real strong storyline to Pokemon games to spoil, but if you don't want to hear about the fun little moments, then skip ahead. But even though I've already ruined one for you anyway. But when you go onto the deck, Eevee gets very excited and wants to look off the edge, and so you go to the sternum, the bow, I don't know, one of the ones, the pointy bit of the SSN, the pointy front bit, and Eevee jumps onto the side and looks around. That's a nice little cutscene you get, and that was that's really quite very, very pretty. And then you go back, and it's also the other when you go and see the captain, and I don't know why this moment struck me as it did, but it really did strike me. And I don't know, it's not, again, it wasn't a beautiful set piece. It's just, a man thrown up into a bucket. You don't see him thrown up, of course. It's a kid's game, and that'd be gross. it doesn't even say the words throwing up, but he's feeling unwell, and you walk in and he's hunched over a bucket. But just to see the captain as the captain, and not a dot-looking sprite that is the same as all the other sprites. Yeah, it was really nice. So yeah, that's me. Talking of the SS Anne, I did have a look, because there's always the old myth of Mew under the truck. So I thought, I wonder if they've done something fun here, some little Easter egg that you can get to if if you do a whole thing and you come around. There is actually a Mew there now, which you get a lot of things that nod like the what was it on Fallout 76? There's a note on the mirror when you first start saying, note to self, please put TP right around or don't put TP backwards, or something, which apparently is, I don't know, this is a nod to the toilet paper being put backwards in the Soul Survivor's house in Fallout 4. Not something I've ever noticed, but that's why I watch Oxorn's videos on Fallout, because I don't tend to pick up all these little things, and he picks up a lot more and thinks into things a lot more than I do. I sort of just enjoy the moment. I'm very like that. Or the one with Civilization, where due to a glitch on, I think it was the first Civilization, Gandhi as a leader always becomes very nuke happy, and it was just an error with computer coding where he's the most peaceful one, and then at some point something happens and everyone's warmongering drops down, but because Gandhi's already at the bottom, his resets over to the top, so he becomes some psychopath maniac and just nukes everyone, because it's around the same time. I think it's when you get nukes, and it's the idea of this we live in the days no one will fire a nuke because everyone has nukes. Well, Gandhi fires all the nukes at everyone, and since then, in the Civilization games, Gandhi has always been a nuke happy leader, which is one of those nice little nods. But no, apparently not. The only way you can get Mew is through buying Pokeball Plus at the moment, which I'm never a fan of these sort of things. And I brought Fallout 3 as the one, not Fallout 3. No, Mass Effect 3. That's the game. Yeah, Mass Effect 3 is always the one that stands out in my mind, because Javek, who was, again, if you haven't played Mass Effect, what I'm about to say to you is not going to make any sense. But if you haven't played Mass Effect, go play Mass Effect. It's really good. But Javek is a Promethean, and they're this big extinct race that fought the bad guys before you did, but failed. And this is the first one you can ever meet. But you have to buy him. He's either, I think he's a pre-order DLC, or you have to buy the DLC. I didn't pre-order Mass Effect because I wanted to physically walk into a shop on the Friday and walk home with it, because I mod like that much in the same way that I did for Pokemon Let's Go, and my partner did for Fallout 76. And so I think it was £4 to download a pack that gave me Javek, which is ridiculous, really, because he was very integral to the game and your understanding. I don't understand how he did it without him being there, to be honest, because he's crucial. To heighten, I think that's poor. But I paid it, and many other people paid it. People complained, but they paid it, and all the bellyaching people did and still do over it. They never offered a refund. They took your money and went. That's fine. That's fine for them. So hiding Mew in Pokeball Plus, I think, is a bad thing. I mentioned on my video that I didn't buy Pokeball Plus because I couldn't justify buying another accessory. I've got enough memorabilia and bits and bobs and whatever else around the house. If I bought a Pokeball, I would be in very, very big trouble. Also, £50 for just basically to do what the joystick does, but it's a Pokeball. And I don't even know, has it got functionality in other games? Can I play Mario Party with my Pokeball Plus? Probably not. So what do I do after that? Presumably they'll be releasing more, if this, as long as Let's Go Eevee does well, which it seems to be doing, they'll be releasing more games. But it's one of those. £50 is still quite a bit. I don't know. One more point I want to make. Again, I said I only want to touch on Pokemon Go briefly because I don't want to step on completely on the old ground, that I've covered in the video. If go watch the video, and it's but these podcasts tend to be, just when I'm doing them on my own, tends to be just me rambling on for a bit. I've got some base notes, but I am rambling. The video is far more fine-tuned, far more, I say fine-tuned, bad word, but I can't think of a word. Far more deliberate, I guess. Still not the right word, but we'll go with that. it's a proper script that I've written, edited to, and so I deliver the script as opposed to me rambling on about Pokemon Let's Go for however long I've been rambling on about Pokemon Let's Go. We're about to hit the half an hour mark. That's including intro and stuff. So the last point I quickly want to mention is on the grinding front, where there's a lot less grinding in this. Before you'd have to, and again I mentioned in the video that about, and I used it as a way to complain about how easy the game was, and it was about Brock, and I said, I in Pokemon Red I always picked Charmander because I love Charizard and Charmeleon and Charmander, and after that I had Pokemon Yellow, and with that you just get Pikachu. There's no choice about it, and they both have issues with defeating Brock. If you have a Squirtle or a Bulbasaur that are both strong against Rock, that's brilliant, great for you. With Charmander, all he's got is Scratch. He hasn't even got Ember. I don't think he even learns Ember till after you finish with Brock. So what you've then got to do is you've got to grind. And my method always was to catch a Caterpie. That's the one. As Weedle is in my head, but I was like, it's not Weedle. I never caught a Weedle. Catch a Caterpie and evolve it up to Butterfree, and then use that to defeat Brock. That's what I had to do every time I started a new game, and I've started a lot of new games on Pokemon through various emulators that I shouldn't have, but I have. Although we've completely cracked down on that in recent times, it seems. But yeah, so in the various guises I have done it, that's the way I've always done it. Always pick a Charizard, always train up a Weedle to a Butterfree. So you can't catch a Metapod. No, Metapods don't work because Metapods only know Harden, so you can't actually train them properly. It's a ball ache. You've got to catch a Caterpie that has Tackle. So that when it evolves to a Metapod, it still has Tackle, and you can keep trying to battle it, but it's a lot of put it into a battle, pull it out of a battle because only the Pokemon that are in the battle get XP, and it's a ball ache. And there's other parts where you've got to grind and do whatnot, and it's a ball ache if you want to get these Pokemon evolved. But now all I can do is I keep putting my weaker Pokemon in battle because I'm an idiot and I'm a masochist and a sadist all rolled up into one. So my Pokemon out there to fight far stronger Pokemon because I think it's funny and whatever because I'm a bad person. But I don't need to do that. I can just keep them in because the whole party gets XP. Where you get at some point you get the EXP share from one of Professor Oak's aides. It basically does that. Really, I think. I don't know if a main Pokemon gets more EXP or not. I haven't researched it. I probably should research that. It could inform what I'm doing with my Pokemon. But anyway, that might show why Eevee's my strongest Pokemon by far because I use Eevee more than any other Pokemon. But so I've tried battling with the weaker Pokemon, but they're weaker Pokemon for a reason, and they're just not up to it. So what I'm getting at in a roundabout way, and forgetting the point I was on about first, is that there's a lot less grinding in it. So I think that's a good thing in general. I'm against grinding. I always think it's a bit of a naff difficulty curve. If you can't make your game challenging while allowing people to push on through it, then I think you're failing a bit there. And I'm saying that one of my favourite games is Final Fantasy IX, which requires an immense amount of grinding at certain points. I just always think grinding is a naff way to spike the difficulty up. There should be ways that people can carry on the story, and that's one of my big things is I always like to carry on a story. I get very bored very quickly with grinding. Again, I've got friends that can sit down and just grind for like 3 hours of just sort of running around doing random battles, just getting level ups. I can't be dealing with that. I want to progress with the story. So this stopping you from having to grind to bring Pokemon up to your party level, I think is really good. And so overall, I would recommend getting Pokemon Let's Go, mainly if you play the originals. If you play the originals and you'd like to see them again in a great graphical quality, then yes, brilliant, get it. If you have played the more recent ones, you haven't played the original, get it because it is a great story. You might be a bit perturbed about the lack of different Pokemon. I think there's a few of the different variations. I think it's Alolan Pokemon, which are meant to be Hawaiian Pokemon, but like I've got like a very dark looking Rattata, and I've got something else that's Alolan. You get those through trades. You don't catch them out in the wilds, but the less grinding and the less random battles because you can actually see the Pokemon wander around is great. I really love that side of it. So yeah, thumbs up. And if you want to run around and grind and catch Pokemon, it's very easy. In fact, it's easier to than it used to, because before you'd have to be running around. You could be running around for ages in a patch of tall grass and not get any fights. Now you can exactly see where the Pokemon are and run to each one of them. So battle, or not battle, catch. So yeah, thumbs up. And you'll always have enough I have got Pokeballs falling out of my ears at the moment. You get them for every fight you win. You find them lying on the ground all over the place. Yeah. Pokemon gets a thumbs up from me. I should probably give it some sort of numerical rating. I'm just going to give it a thumbs up. You see, this whole video is me trialing doing gaming videos. At some point, I want to sit down. I want to talk game series. One of my favourite podcasts, might be only gaming podcast. I've got two. So one of my favourite gaming podcasts is Kane and Rince, and what they do is they sit down, they talk through a game or a game series, depending on how much material they've got on it, and they bring in different people. And that's great, and that's something I'd like to try and emulate a bit with podcasts like this. But for now, something like this, where it's just me sat down talking a bit about something, is fine. So anyway, thank you. This is my part about Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. That's the edition I've got. And after a short break, we'll talk about Fallout 76.
This is a Life Junkie podcast.
Fallout 76. Where do I begin? I'll begin with my history of the franchise. I'm fairly new to Fallout in general terms. My first Fallout that I've properly played and completed is Fallout 4. I've completed that one twice. First time was sort of very quick. I sort of stumbled through it to completion. I was borrowing it from a friend, and then my friend needed it back because they released some DLC. That friend then brought it for me for Christmas the following year. Yeah. But he brought me the Game for You edition. So, and that again, it was on Xbox One both times. So yeah, so then I completed it again, but I sort of 100%ed it. Sort of, there's probably some bits I've missed or whatever, but I pretty much did everything. As I spent 18 days worth on it. Got properly involved in it. Again, this is quite a controversial opinion apparently, but I really like Fallout 4. I might really like Fallout 4 because it's the only Fallout game that I've properly played. But I think it's really fun. I think the shooting's really tight. I think the storyline's decent. I can see a lot of the complaints are about apparently back in Fallout 3 you had far wider arc you could do, so you could actually be bad. I think you could join with raiders, and you sort of can in one of the DLCs. But I really enjoyed Fallout 4. I really like the camp builder mechanics, even though I get bored of it after a while because I'm that kind of person. So why am I building water pumps and enough things wander off? And I think some of the places where you could build camps were a bit bugged, and I had a few issues with the camp builder mech. But I really enjoyed it. You don't get 18 days on one single game file save. Game save. That's it. That's the one I'm looking for. You don't get 18 hours on one game save. I'm leaving all this in, by the way. But you don't get that much time on a game save unless you're really enjoying something. I have tried, at the point of recording, I have tried little bits of 1, 3, and New Vegas. I used to own New Vegas. It got snapped by an ex-girlfriend. A different ex-girlfriend, one that I gave Pokemon Soul Silver to. That's a whole other story that will probably never be appeared on this podcast. I borrowed 3, or I owned 3, and that was also snapped. Both are very real possibilities. There was a whole issue. There was a whole row. Other things happened. Other things were broken. But a selection of games did get snapped. They're all that area. E to G in my games got snapped, and so I've played both of those on 360 very, very quickly. And one is the one I have. So I've got all of the games on my laptop. I bought them all for Steam in a Steam sale recently. The issue is I haven't really been able to get them to play. So I have an issue apparently with playing older games on my laptop. I don't know if it's an issue with Windows 10 or my laptop specifically, but a lot of them don't. I just recently managed to get Diablo 2 to play to download patches for that and mess around with compatibility settings. But I think I may have learned a bit more to give these a go. But I only managed to get Diablo 2 to work last night, so I haven't had a chance to sit down and properly try and see if I get the Fallout games to play. I would love to go back. I would more than happily to go back through and play the old Fallout games. I am, if we're talking Bethesda, currently in my second playthrough of Skyrim. So again, that's another very long game that I've put a lot of time into. I'm again nearing the end of that, but for now, the introduction of Fallout 76 has put a kibosh on that. But I'm more willing to go back to it because I see Fallout 76 as a very different game to I saw Fallout 4 or Skyrim. Again, I'll talk about that in a minute. I mentioned earlier that I was introduced to Fallout by a friend. That was the reason why I was so excited for Fallout 76 because it was a week of layers getting together. I love Fallout 4. He has loved Fallout since 3. And yeah, so that was the idea of playing online with each other was great. But due to both our work schedules, due to me doing this blog and all this, blah, 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 and having a family and him having, other interests he's sorting out, we just haven't been able to play together yet. I have very much played Fallout solo. I'm jumping down on my notes here now, but because it feels right. It feels so right. My mind's telling me no. No singing on the podcast, Michael. Bad, Michael. Yeah, I very much played it solo completely. So by point when I first loaded it up because I wanted to do it solo for a bit to see what it was like playing solo, and now so as I'm warming more to the idea of playing with someone, my game was just aren't that popular. I don't know if that's by design from Bethesda or if it's they're having an issue with the amount of people playing it. If a lot of people have bought it, maybe aren't continuing with it because it's reviewed awfully. But yeah, my game worlds are sparse, so I just haven't. I don't see people much anymore at all. So yeah, so that's quite interesting. I've enjoyed. I'm gonna carry on. I've enjoyed playing it solo. I think playing it solo is very nice. Again, it's a completely different. Fallout 4 and Fallout and Skyrim are two very much icy role playing games. I don't see Fallout in the same way. I'm playing it much more as a shooter because there's no real role playing in there. I feel there's got to be some sort of storyline for you to work your way through, some characters for you to interact with for it to be a role playing game. I'm not playing a role. I'm just some bloke wandering through the wilderness, making camps in random places around trees and shooting scorch. There is no role to be played. Maybe that's me taking a controversial stance on this, but I don't. The way I'm playing at the moment is I'll drop in, I'll do a few missions, get a few shots from my sniper, and I'm very much enjoying the shooting mechanics. The shooting mechanics are just as crisp, if not maybe slightly more crisp than Fallout 4 was. I'm really enjoying getting a few scorched with my sniper. There are a few bullet sponge monsters. I'm still fairly low level, but is it Gargantuan Beast? Or no, that's not. That's from Diablo 2. I've been playing that also today. Wanton Beast. I don't know. These big masses of grey. They are absolute bullet sponges. And it was bad enough when I tried to take one out of a pistol because that's all I had left. But with my sniper, it's a real nightmare. But I like that side of it with your armor and weapons get damaged. That's really nice. That's a really nice mechanic. So you have to find these weapons workbenches which are fairly sparse themselves. I think that's a really good part of the game. I really like that. So yeah, so I'm enjoying it myself so far. I think I'm not too sure what playing with other people would add. I don't have a headset at the moment. Again, that's something I could rectify fairly easily by buying a headset. But I don't know what if I'm going to play it with someone, I'd rather play it with people I know, people I'm friends with. I haven't got a massive interest in playing with random people. I'm planning to give it a go at some point if I find anyone. But I think I'm more than happy. I am perfectly happy playing it solo and using it more as a shooter. I play this far closer to say I would play Call of Duty or Medal of Honor than I played Fallout 4. Completely differently. Yeah, so that is my sort of very quick review on that side of it. I have a big issue with it on the lore side, however. Now, my issue is when they brought out the game, they built it as you're going to be the first people to step foot into this wilderness. It's going to be, completely empty of people and all this, and you'll be the one setting foot there and making all the thing, and rebuilding America. But you're not the first people. You are. There have been people building things long before you. The responders, the Brotherhood of Steel, is still are around already. They're all, you see the responders' corpse. I haven't seen any Brotherhood of Steel corpses, but I haven't seen any physical evidence of them being there. I have found terminal entries and holotapes that reference the Brotherhood of Steel, talk about them. But the responders are all over the place. You are literally you're following in their footsteps of responders for the first part. And I don't have to follow in the footsteps. I don't have to do those quests if I don't want to. That's the magic of a game like this. But you are following these people's footsteps. These people have been there. They have already started rebuilding society. You're not rebuilding society. You're just existing within it. There may be, when I get further into the game, there may be some more to that, but you're not. This game isn't as promised. I also have a massive issue with the camp. You can't build your camp anywhere near other buildings. Why not? Part of my favourite thing is building your camp in Fallout 4 was taking what was already there and building upon it. I love that side of it. So they've completely taken that away, and there are workshops you can unlock in certain places, but even then, the one I found, I couldn't unlock it because it was saying I need to clear out all the enemies, but I couldn't find any more enemies to kill. I think I killed 3 ghouls, but it still said you need to kill more enemies, and it gave me a target spot to an empty patch of land. I couldn't work out how to get underneath the place. There was nothing above that spot, so I don't know what was going on. I couldn't unlock it, which there might have been something I completely missed. That might be a massive glitch, but stuff like that's really annoying. I want to be able to build in the houses. Like, I know a lot of people like building completely their own camps. That's fine. You should give those people the opportunity to do that, but you should also give people like me that want to build. And I have built. As I speak in this, I've not long built myself a tree house. But I don't. I have an issue. I have an issue, guys. I'm not happy. I don't feel at all that the Fallout 76 we have is the Fallout 76 that we were promised. As I said, I'm enjoying it, but it's not what it's about. What I personally would have done is I would have had no survivors. The only survivors maybe ghouls. No people. No story of responders. No this or that. And if you really want to do all your training in the vault. Do that so that you have a training. I woke up late and I'll go through your training program and learn how to boil water and learn how to do this. And they've got a very basic one through, and that's what the responders basically are there to do. They're there to guide you on a story, and I think it's fairly lazy. What I would have had personally, I would have had ghouls, and I would have had a few still sentient ghouls because they, I know I'm being a bit cheeky here, just as Professor are. But a few sentient ghouls because they're not classed as humans, they are classed as ghouls. And the game has ghouls. It has lots of feral ghouls. Just doesn't have any sentient ghouls, which again is stupid. It's another stupid thing. There were sentient ghouls right from the start. So why it just happens to be none of the ghouls in the Appalachian Mountains in that period were sentient. Funny that. So I'd have had sentient ghouls used to help signpost you around to lead you to this, lead you to that, or we need to fix this. Have them around, have them so that they haven't started building their community yet. There's no towns, there's no good neighbour, there's no Diamond City, there's none of this. They are still rebuilding, so have that. Have that as your signpost rather than this responder thing. The fact that there were people there that just so happened to die out roughly a few days before you got there. I think I didn't pick up on this, but Oxor mentioned this on his video when he steps out. There is as soon as you step out, there is a responder corpse. It's still a corpse. The skin is grey. It started to decompose, but it's still a fresh corpse. He said that is no more than 3 days old for a corpse to get to that stage. So something happened just before to wipe, and it's turning out that it was these scorched guys that have basically replaced raiders. Which I understand that, but again, sentient ghouls would be, I think, is the way to go. So I'm just going to keep saying sentient ghouls until sentient ghouls appear in my game. I'm not playing it right now, but I'm going to keep saying it. Sentient ghouls. Sentient ghouls, guys. Sentient ghouls. And yeah, the camp is naff, I guess. It makes sense you've got to unlock things and work your way down and blah 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 blah. It took me ages to work out that when I picked up the plans, I then needed to go into my inventory and read them to actually activate them. I was like, why can't I build it? I'm sure I picked up the plan for this. No, I haven't read the plans, but I haven't actually unlocked it. Cool. Yeah, so I think these are issues, and I haven't read a massive amount of reviews. What I have seen is people moaning about it seems empty. I've, but I think I think it's a big logical flaw is something that is really damaging the game. I think if that was something they'd fixed, again, they can't go back and retroactively fix it now. They'll be looking at what they can do in the future, so it's not going to happen. But just something like that would have been so easy to do right. So that's my big issue with it. But as I said, I'm enjoying it. I have seen quite a few glitches. Again, I've never played Fallout 4. I was very late to. I played it. I played, the first played Fallout 4 after my friend had completed the main game. So long enough for them to have fixed all the glitches. But there are some very annoying glitches. Mainly the fact that you have these scorch guys that are sort of frozen into place, so you can sort of wander around and shoot them at will, and they don't do anything. That's the biggest glitch for me. I've never had a massive issue with glitches. That's sort of what Bethesda do. There's nothing game breaking. I haven't lost anything due to the glitches. I haven't had to exit the game forcibly because something's glitched and screwed me in a corner or something. So as long as there's nothing game breaking or that you've got to save and exit and reload or reload a previous checkpoint, nothing like that, I'm not that fussed. Again, I've seen nothing like the not Fallout 3, Mass Effect 3. The Mass Effect 3 videos run where you have the chap they're talking to and his face has no flesh to it, it's just eyes and a mouth talking. Nothing like that. It's because there's no people to talk to. Why would there be things like that when there's no people to talk to? But again, no thinking into rocks or anything like that. And yeah, so yeah, there are a few issues. And again, my issue of a camp workshop, that might be a glitch. It might not. There might be something. There is going back to that again to moan about it some more. There is like a thing that looks like it might be the entrance to a cellar, but I can't activate it. It just as well might be a coal bunker. That might be a glitch. Might be a glitch. If it is a glitch, then game is full of glitches and it's really annoying me. No, it's even that isn't a massive issue, and hopefully they might fix it by now. But I've been there twice now. The last time I went was a few days ago, so they probably haven't. But yeah. So Fallout overall, it's not even like I can turn around and say if you're a hardcore Fallout fan, pick it up, because I don't think this is for hardcore Fallout fans. I'd say wait. They have put a lot of time, money, and effort into this. They see what a cash cow something like this can be. I fully expect. I've never played Elder Scrolls Online, but that has apparently seems a certain World of Warcraft vibe. Again, World of Warcraft isn't something I've ever played, but everyone knows how World of Warcraft operates. And Elder Scrolls Online seems to have that sort of vibe where they release DLC for it, and that's how they keep making the money on it, and that's what makes it so that it's still profitable and they can still go on and on and on. I think that's what they're going to do with this eventually. So there will be add-ons, more maps and whatever else. So I would hold tight and get it. I will just quickly mention about that my partner has brought. So this is technically my Christmas present. She has brought me the Tricentennial Power Armor Edition, which with how badly this game has done is looking like a very stupid move on my part to ask for her to get me that. So this is my main Christmas present. It cost a lot more money than I'd like to admit. It comes with a power armor helmet and a few other bits and bobs in it. All the bits and bobs are still in the box. When she brought it home on the Wednesday of its release, she got home before I did because that was her day off. So I was at work, and so she got it home, pulled out the game, and then sealed the box back up, and it will be wrapped and put under the tree. So I haven't looked at any of the other bits and bobs. I haven't got into it. I know there's the issue with the canvas bags of being nylon bags, and the people have been playing, and Bethesda have finally accepted that they will make these bags for us, and so she's got to submit some form of ticket, although already thrown away for a seat because she's an idiot. But yeah, the reason I've got that is mainly a collector's point of view. I like to collect memorabilia. I have a full set of Pokemon Kanto badges downstairs. I have various pops of things and other bits and bobs. So this sort of adds to my collection. I have no idea where I'll display it, but it will be displayed. I'm not going to be wandering a house in a Power Armor helmet, but I will find somewhere to put it up some way. I can't decide how I'm going to put it up until I've seen the size of it. But it's a big old box. So yeah, that is my addiction to collecting things. In general, I would say hold off on Fallout 76. I think it's got the very bare bones of a very good game, and I think it will be a very good game once they've sort of worked out where they're going with it and what the fans really want from it properly. Then it will be a very good game. It might be that they end up introducing people into it after a time. I don't know. It might be that is at this point. I think that might be the only way to fix it is to add some NPCs, which again isn't a particularly bad thing. I don't think. I think that could fix some of the issues with it. So some sentient ghouls, please, Bethesda. Going on from my rating system that I just made up with Pokemon Let's Go, where I gave that a thumbs up. I'm going to give this a middle thumb. The one where the Roman Emperor is deciding whether the gladiator that's just lost will live or die when he's holding it in the middle. That's what I'm going to do. That's going to be my rating system for now. It'll get a thumbs down. If I don't like it, it'll get a middle thumb. So I'm like, it's all right, or it's going to improve in the future. And a thumbs up if I think, yes, this is a really good game. So this gets a middle thumb, which I will find a better way to say that because that sounds slightly rude. But anyway, that is my podcast on Pokemon Let's Go and Fallout 76. I hope you've enjoyed it. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't, but yeah, let's move on. So I have now been recording for an hour, about to an hour. And thank you for listening to me if you have listened to me all the way through. And thank you from the Life Junkies, which is just me. So thanks. Bye-bye. If you've enjoyed this podcast, I have a lot more Life Junkies content for you to also enjoy. I have my podcast playlist, which will be up on the screen. Go check them out. In there, I have 2 wrestling podcasts, a War Games review and Survivor Series preview, and a Survivor Series preview podcast. I also have a Football Manager podcast talking to Tony FM Grasshopper and Mike according to FM of FM fame. Let's talk a little bit about them. We do a quiz with them with 11 questions. If that's not your bag, I have my Pokemon Let's Go review video also up on the screen. If you haven't watched it, go watch it now. If you haven't watched it, why haven't you watched it? Watch it. Sentient Ghouls.